everyone. Welcome back to the 8th episode of The Idiot's Guide to Imagineering, the podcast where the wildest Disney dreams come to life, at least in our own imaginary Disney world. We are so glad to be back this week. The Idiots took a little bit of a break from recording last week while Stephen went off to become Sven and explored Norway. So, Stephen, did you have fun? Tell us all about it.
I sure did. I actually took this boat cruise through the fjords, and I swear that every little town we passed, they were like, oh, that's the inspiration for Frozen. And I was like, okay, which one is it? For real? It can't be every one of these towns.
But also, wait. You said every place is the inspiration for Arendelle. Well, what was the inspiration for the trolls?
Well, that would be you. So don't even have to go to Norway for that. But
right here.
But yeah, it was amazing. I recommend 10 out of 10. Norway, go do it. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen, and I would go back in a heartbeat.
Aw, well, we're glad you're back.
Thanks.
Welcome.
So, welcome home.
Yep, and we're happy to be back all together. On today's episode, we're taking you on a culinary experience like none other in Disney. And I'm hungry just thinking about it. But as we mention in pretty much every episode, this group is always hungry. So what else is new?
Yep.
And we love to talk about food.
Hungry right now.
So speaking of food, before we jump in, I thought that we should keep this gastronomy train going and mention our favorite Disney restaurants. So I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to be a little bit out of the box because I already know what Jenny is going to say her favorite restaurant is. I just can tell. So I'm going with Sebastian's Bistro at the Caribbean Beach Resort.
Ooh. You love that
I
place.
do. It's very similar to a place that rhymes with Schmohana. They have an amazing bread pudding. That's very similar to one you may find at another restaurant on property, but it's a little quieter and the food is great and it's a little cheaper. So, Jenny, was I right? Is your favorite Disney restaurant Ohana?
You are right. But I know everyone loves the bread pudding, but for me, it's the noodles. They are so good.
They are pretty great.
They're my favorite. So, but aside from that, I love the atmosphere at Ohana. I know it's an obvious choice and it's a lot of people's favorites, but like there's a reason for that. What about you, Katie?
Oh, I was going to say Ohana, but I feel like I have to pick something else just for like mixing it up this time since I keep copying everyone else. But I'm going to say Boma for breakfast.
No.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, I thought I would go rogue and throw a breakfast one out there.
we're never going to all be individuals here. That's why we're friends.
I know. Let's all get Pog Juice together.
Yes.
Go for a walk. All right. Sorry, Amanda, why don't you tell us what your favorite place is?
So I'm going to say the restaurant that's in Mexico that's inside the temple, but it looks like it's outside. Yeah. For a little while, I was like, oh, the food's not great. But then it's a lot better now and I love the environment. So whatever the name of that restaurant is, that one.
Oh, fun fact. Marissa and I had our first date there.
We did.
Ooh. Our first friend date.
I think it's called, is it the San Angel Inn?
Yeah.
Yep. It was the first time Katie and I had an outing together, was there. And here we are.
The love of your life, or the love of your life before your very eyes.
Okay, so Boma was my number one, but my number two is Thanksgiving every day at the Liberty Tree.
That was my number two.
Tavern.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Oh, good.
You cannot
that was my number two.
walk away from there hungry.
And that cookie dessert, the cookie cake.
Yes.
Yes. Well, now that we covered our favorite restaurants, I think this was a pretty busy week news-wise. Jenny and Amanda, I'll let you guys take the lead on this one.
Well, as many of you know, Destination D23 was held at the Contemporary Resort 2 weekends ago. And as expected, of course, several exciting projects are in the works and were announced. Since our last episode was recorded prior to the announcements, we kind of wanted to discuss and give a few of the highlights. So the World of Frozen at Hong Kong Disneyland opened on November 20th, the very first of 3 Frozen lands that are in the works. And then Disney announced the name of the newest ship. And guys, this is just right on topic with our previous episodes, but one of the 3 brand new ships, the Disney Adventure, and it's going to be the first Disney ship to sail from Singapore and throughout Southeast Asia.
Yay!
Perfect.
Disney listening to us.
They're listening. They love our ideas.
They
clearly.
heard our last 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Disney also announced a brand new island destination in the Bahamas. It's called Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. So starting in the summer of 2024, guests will be able to visit the exciting new island as a stop on their Disney cruise. And then also Epcot's new nighttime spectacular Luminous. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Luminous.
Yeah.
Luminous. Luminous. The Symphony of Us will feature fireworks, fountains, lasers, lighting effects, and Disney music, and will premiere on December 5th. Nothing can ever take the place of my favorite Epcot.
Oh, it was so good.
And guys, when you come back through customs, I didn't know this, but there's this movie that is played, and it plays the music from Illuminations while you're waiting to go through customs when you get back to the United States. And so I was like, "This,
oh my gosh,
something
went through customs and didn't hear this."
I heard it last summer.
Yeah, I looked it up, and it was like an actual Disney created movie that they gifted to the government for customs, and I was surprised.
What a treat.
Also, the Country Bears Jamboree in Magic Kingdom will be getting a brand new show, which has been described as an homage to the classic musical reviews of Nashville. This updated attraction will premiere in 2024. I don't know if I'm the only person excited about this one.
No, I'm pumped.
Oh, really?
I think my dad, if they change too much, my dad is going to flip.
Nope.
He loves this. He even went to the Country Bears in Japan. When he went to Disneyland.
Oh.
He loves this.
He is a Country Bear stan, y'all.
Yes.
I'm ready for the new one.
Yes.
This one's a little interesting. So not many details have been provided, but Disney's Animal Kingdom's Dino Land is being reimagined to be themed after the tropical Americas.
Yes.
So they said specifically South America and into Central America. Bruce Vaughn, the chief creative officer of Disney Imagineering, described this area as the most biodiverse area on the planet, saying places people travel for adventure, exploration, and discovery. He said they're imagining a land filled with authentic experiences from this part of the world, and they're excited to bring these stories to life in Animal Kingdom.
Love that.
I'm actually excited for this.
Can we break this down a little bit? I love all these announcements, and I love the excitement surrounding them, but
so vague.
It's very vague, and it's it seems a little early.
Yes.
I like the idea of it.
You know, I feel like
whatever it becomes.
You know, they announced this same Dino Land update back at D23 Expo last year, and it was something entirely different. And now it was supposed to be like Moana and Peter Pan and Zootopia, and now it's going to be Encanto and Indiana Jones, which
I don't really understand
really
that connection.
I'm not sure what the animal tie-in is with those. So I don't understand this whole thing about kind of announcing something that's very blue sky.
A little, it does seem a little early. But
wait till you know a little bit more. I mean, I guess you can just say something's coming, but it's a little
right. I want to be optimistic, but it's just it seems like kind of not an announcement.
Agree.
I'm excited for the ideas that we're going to come up with for it, because I feel like we'll probably do our own thing. So I'm excited for that. But
for sure.
I like the idea of it. But yeah, it does feel very vague. I'm not really sure where we're going to go with this. But I do feel like a country theme is a bit more appropriate, obviously, for that area. But
we've got Asia and we've got Africa.
Yeah.
I think South America is like a nice and cultural area, so it's a good spot for them to like pick and do.
Maybe
so hopefully they do it right.
I can meet a wild toucan or something.
You are a toucan.
Also, a brand new show is finally coming to the Tree of Life based on Zootopia.
Finally.
I know.
I'm so excited.
The concept will take guests into the different biomes from the film, as well as some new biomes never seen before, and it'll feature their favorite characters from the movie, such as Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde.
Yay.
Now this better come to life.
Yeah.
The Tree of Life.
I'm very excited for this. I'm very interested to see how it's done, though, because obviously it's tough to be a bug. Makes perfect sense of what it is as bugs under a tree. So how is this going to work? I don't know, but surely there'll be a storyline.
I guess to incorporate all the animals that make up the tree.
Oh, yeah, true.
Good thinking.
Maybe they're all coming off the tree and into the theater.
Yeah. So we could go on and on talking about all the announcements because there were way too many to name, but we just wanted to touch on a few here. And I think we're already all looking at flights to head up to the D23 Expo next August in Anaheim.
I actually booked a hotel today with no one's permission. So surprise everybody.
You're a little ahead of us.
We're going.
This group isn't impulsive. Not at all.
Wanted to get it before they're gone.
Well, now it's time for our Imagineering Idea of the Week. As a reminder, each week, our team will assign project managers to plan a new or updated offering for a Disney park or resort and present it to everyone for their feedback and collaboration. Our plans are designed keeping in mind current technology and existing park structures, but without limitation of construction or budget constraints.
So today we're heading to Epcot. We're going to be talking about Living with the Land, which originally opened on September 28th, 1982 in Future World. For those of you who might not have ever ridden it, you're really missing out, but it's a slow-moving boat ride that ends with a greenhouse tour located in the land.
Speaking of dads, that's my dad's favorite ride too.
Oh,
so.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Jenny, have you ever been on this ride?
Shout out to John.
Oh, yeah. Love Living with the Land.
Yeah. It quickly became a relaxing fan favorite way to beat the heat and is also our idea for the next Idiot Overhaul. So the focus of the ride is on agriculture and ways to make it more efficient, sustainable, and environmentally friendly.
And Marissa and I originally came up with the concept for this while riding Living with the Land.
Yep.
Desperately trying to escape the heat, but also we were ready to eat our next meal and planning and thinking what we could do for this. And that's where our idea kind of hit us. So your ride begins like normal. You're headed in the land. You're getting into the boat. You hop on, jamming out to your peaceful prairie farmland music without a care in the world. But this time, this tour is going to be a little bit different. This is a private boat. You have only 9 other passengers with you, so it's a total of 10. You have your own tour guide narrating and pointing out the details along the way. But once the boat reaches the greenhouse, the ride actually stops.
Surprise!
What?
Yeah, you get off the boat into the greenhouse, and this is where your kind of like behind the scenes tour on steroids begins.
Oh, yeah.
Or your culinary experience.
Oh,
Yeah. So there is a
a
behind the scenes tour that exists today. And it's a quick tour, about 90 minutes. It takes you behind the scenes, shows off like the greenhouses, plants, all of that good stuff in there. And is not too expensive. Like I think it's only about $35, but pretty cool. Marissa and I haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. However, we do have some friends that did. And Marissa, I think you spoke to them about it a little bit further. So would you share kind of the details of what this tour is today in its current state?
Yeah, so shout out to my friends Abby and Anthony who took the behind the scenes tour several years ago, and I remember they told me a lot about it afterwards. So while Katie and I were talking about our new overhaul, it came to mind, let me ask them what they enjoyed about that tour. So Anthony had shared that he liked seeing and interacting with an actual person on the tour about the plants and the fish instead of just hearing a voiceover. And he felt it was an interactive version of Living with the Land, which is great because the land is also great. So he's a big fan, and he is also a dad. So I think this is a dad favorite. But when asked about...
The dads love it.
Yeah. When asked about what they do to improve the tour, I didn't even have to ask Abby. I know that she was not a fan of the heat when they did this tour. It was the middle of the summer, and the heat really ruined the experience for her. And Anthony told me that he also would like the experience to taste more crops. So, Anthony, you're going to want to check out this new tour because welcome to From Land to Table.
Cute.
Yep, a culinary
Like it.
experience like none other at Epcot.
Okay.
So Katie and I actually did a lot of research, and Katie rerode this ride last weekend to get some experience seeing what plants and crops and fish were on the
Like,
ride.
you really had to twist my arm.
I know.
I think there's a lot of things you can learn from the tour itself. So it does sound like it's great. And like, we're not looking to redo that tour. We're just kind of looking to enhance that tour, I think. So Marissa and I came up with an idea to kind of do like a farm to table type restaurant concept. And it's a limited experience restaurant concept. It only will appear seasonally. So for 1 week out of each season, this would be open for dinner time. So you would have a spring special, a summer special, a fall, and a winter special.
So because this is a special VIP event, we're actually going to close the land at 5 p.m. on the nights that From Land to Table is happening, to give guests more time to check in and truly enjoy their experience. So like we mentioned, the ride will start off with you getting on your boat, and once you get to the greenhouse, rather than stay in your boat and continue through your journey of the land, you're actually going to hop off the boat and begin your behind the scenes tour.
And as you mentioned before, it will be intimate. So only 10 people will have the opportunity to do this. And again, it will be one dinner service every day for the 1 week that it's available. It'll be similar to the behind the scenes tour, where it'll take you through the different greenhouses. It will show you, they have the areas where they have the insects that they use for pesticide. Another thing that during our research was a fan favorite was they allow you to feed the bass. So things like that we'll still keep and make sure to have along the way. But we wanted to add a special dinner service that really takes this to the next level and makes this experience kind of unlike anything that exists at Disney today.
You're
and I'll let
you're
Marissa-
answering a lot of excuse me. You're answering a lot of questions that kind of came up to me initially of like, how do you do this from like a sustainability standpoint? Like, how do you not have this whole garden picked over? But if it's a limited amount of people that have access to this, what do you kind of ballpark? How many people are going to have access to this? How many reservations would you open for this?
So it would be a very exclusive experience. So only 10 diners a night. And if we're only offering this for 1 week per season, that's about 70 people tops.
Okay.
But
great.
to go along with that, we were concerned about if we're having all these people going into the greenhouse, interacting, touching,
Picking their own food.
vegetables and fruits, that there'd be, nothing left over. So in order to not disrupt the growing of the crops and other vegetation, we actually decided to make a designated area of the greenhouse that will feature the ingredients needed. So this way, we're still limiting where guests can actually walk through and pick items, and to minimize disruption to the greenhouses while also providing that, very intimate experience of actually getting to pick their food that they're going to eat for dinner that night.
That's awesome. So basically, if you're on the boat, you'll still get to see like all the beautiful, fully grown plants and vegetation.
Yep. You will get a full tour, but we don't want them touching everything because we don't know where your hands have been, some people. But
Don't trust them.
You will get to sample along the way. So as Marissa mentioned, we will have designated areas. You will get to pick. You can pick your produce. You can pick your stuff. We're going to actually have parts of the dinner service that are going to be demonstrations and hands-on, and we'll talk about that a little bit further. But you will be able to sample it. You will be able to pick some stuff. So if you like this tomato because it's super massive and you want to use it as part of the recipe that's in it, then you get to use that and pick whatever you want. So little bits of things like that. We want to make sure it's like fun and interesting and kind of different for the guest. But once you actually pick your food out and you go in, we plan to actually have the dinner service start around 7. So that gives you roughly about 90 minutes to ride the ride. And then you go through and you'll be able to pick all your produce out, get the experience of the tour, and then move along and start the dinner service.
Yep. So you're going to start in the rainforest area for a live demonstration of your appetizer. So some of the ideas that we had, I'm skipping ahead a little bit to our menus, but we're going to have a different menu seasonally. So Maybe in the summer for your appetizer, you might make things such as a watermelon and tomato salad. So you will pick the watermelon and tomatoes that you're using for that salad, working with a chef to, create that salad and then eat it with your other tour members. It's going to continue being fun and interactive with drinking and eating along the way. Katie came up with a good idea that when you actually sit down to enjoy your appetizer, there's a little space like right across from the rainforest where there'd be more room for having a table set up. And we'll add some light there to, so you can see what you're eating, but also make sure we're not disrupting the ambience of the rainforest.
That sounds really pretty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what we both were thinking is like, kind of when you like Google farm to table and they show like people just sitting outside and there's like horses behind them and animals around and it's very like wildflowers and things like that. Like I think that's kind of the experience we were going for and like some of the decor we wanted to do. But it will be fun. You will get to be able to you'll have your own personal chef. You get to cook with them and it's super exciting. And then once you finish, my favorite room that we're going into, but once you finish the appetizer portion, so you'll get to, again, eat and put it together. You move over to your next room, which is where your entree is going to be served. And this is my favorite part because you'll head into the American Prairie. Oh. So you'll see, so where the table will be set up will actually be on the side. It has a bit more space on the side where the farmhouse is. So you have the sunrise behind you and you have that open space and there's little roosters and dogs. And then right across the way, you have your buffalo.
And the baby buffalo.
Watching you eat. Yeah. So your family of buffalo across the river from you. And that's where you can go. But for the entree portion, we don't want you to really have to worry about cooking or doing anything. So the chef will do that for you right in front of you. They will cook your entree. And that way you guys can just relax and take it easy and communicate with your different tour members or whatever you want to do for that portion of it. But we wanted that to be a bit more relaxed.
And just so I'm picturing this correctly, this is like a traveling dinner. Like I'm starting in one place and I'm getting up and moving to.
Yeah,
that's
I can't
really
think of
cool.
what.
It's like a pub crawl, but like a
a land crawl.
A land crawl.
There's a name for. Is it a progressive meal?
Yeah,
and I actually
progressive dinner where you.
There was a progressive dinner. It was a monorail one. I don't think it's currently being offered. But
I know what you're talking about. You went to the resort.
So you started at, I want to say the Grand Floridian or Contemporary, and you hopped on the monorail for each portion. So,
I really love that.
Yeah, so
idea.
we
is that like a Disney sponsored thing, or was that just what people did?
No, it was a Disney sponsored tour. It was very expensive. I looked into it.
Oh,
but yeah, so it's a progressive meal where you're starting in one room, then going on to see the buffalo, and then once you finish eating your dinner with the buffalo, and you've had your time to relax and unwind while you're watching the chef preparing your meal, you're going to head to your last stop, which is the big room right before you enter the greenhouses on the land. There is a room with wooden floors and big movie screens. So we figured that would be a great place to finish with your dessert. And there will be a chef in there as well, just like there is along the way. And the chef might take some volunteers to help make the dessert.
Yeah, we didn't know if it was too interactive to have everyone do dessert. We didn't know if it was too much work for everyone or just the chef picks volunteers. So we'll let you guys decide what you think is better. But we like the fact that you could make your own, berry compote or, use the edible flowers and things like that. We thought it'd be a lot of fun.
Especially dessert.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it's fun. So you can change everything out seasonally. We also saw that they have coffee plants in there. So you could have your own specialty coffee as part of the dessert or something different. And we really wanted to make sure that we took ingredients that were grown there. Obviously, not everything is on the land. So not some parts of the menu will not be from the greenhouse because we will have meats and things like that. But we did want to make sure that we, for the most part, were incorporating main ingredients from the land. I don't know, Marissa, if you want to I don't know if we have time, but maybe Marissa can share some of the menu items we put together.
Yeah, we can share a few. So like I said, for our summer sample menu that Katie and I came up with, one of our appetizers was a watermelon and tomato salad. So the watermelon and tomatoes would be picked straight from the land. We also like the idea of having a featured flatbread for each time of the year. So we came up with a summer flatbread with squash, zucchini, pesto, and garlic. So the squash, zucchini, and pesto would all be coming from the land. For the main entree, it would be a blackened catfish found in the land with lemon, Greek oven roasted potatoes, lemon featured on the land, with garlic and oregano featured on the land. You know. For dessert, strawberry shortcake. And that's where Katie was saying that guests have the opportunity to cook a strawberry compote if they'd like. There'd be some pre-made cakes already there. They also can whip their own cream, you know, making this as interactive as a guest would like, or if they prefer to sit back and watch and just have more of a relaxing experience, they can do that as well.
Now, Marissa, what part of that was featured in the land?
The strawberries.
That's right. That's right. Featured in the land.
Featured in the land.
Now, is I hate to ask this, but is buffalo an option on the menu?
No, we're only looking at them
poor
babies.
taste.
Okay.
We thought that was in poor taste to eat it in front of the family.
Who's that, Mama? Oh, that's Grandpa.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So, and then after you finish your dessert, you're full, you've had some coffee featuring the coffee beans in the
Featured in the land.
That's why I'm laughing. Katie had a great idea of doing a send-off with our guests to thank them for joining us.
Yeah, so they have on the behind the scenes tour, like they have QR codes around and you can scan them and find like the nutritional like breakdown of the different like produce and things so you could like replicate it in your home garden.
Ooh.
Which I thought was nice. But then I thought for this event, what if they get like a little package when they're leaving. So it has a QR code they can scan. It'll have the recipes with the ingredients and everything. So if they want to make it at home, what they just had at the dinner, they can do that too. But some other fun things that we wanted to include in there. It'll also have information on the wines that they have. But the thing that we're most excited about is if you're coming during spring or summer, you'll actually get a little mini Mickey-shaped watermelon to take with you. And if you are coming in fall and winter, you'll get a Mickey-shaped pumpkin to take with you.
I love that.
That's the
So
highlight
cute.
of the whole greenhouse.
Yeah.
So.
I want that pumpkin right now.
Mm-hmm.
I know, it's so cute. And I just want to take it with us. But yeah, so we thought that'd be like a nice little send-off for it. And then one thing I did want to mention was we are aware that obviously people will have some food allergies and things like that. So we will take that into consideration. We will honor food allergies or dietary restrictions. However, please know that may not be part of the demonstration, depending on what needs to be subbed out or things like that. So you could still join it, but again, it may not be as part of the demonstration portion of the meal. And then we won't do any substitutions. So if you don't like catfish, you can't swap it out for chicken or things like that. But we'll be sure to announce the menu when we announce the availability to start booking. So that way people can see in advance what works for them.
This sounds like New York's hottest restaurant that you can never get into, like that type of experience. Like
Right.
it's so
Think about like
intimate and
70
exclusive
people
and-
total.
Yeah.
So going along with that, like we've said, this is going to be an extremely intimate dinner. And because it's only scheduled to happen for 1 week seasonally, I mean, we could always add some extra weeks if the demand is there. But we did talk about the price of this experience, since I feel like you may wonder. We did make it a little more expensive. It would be $250 per person plus tax, but it does include the dinner experience, the behind the scenes look at the land. You know, it's kind of a combination of the behind the scenes tour plus more. Plus, you're getting that pumpkin or watermelon as a parting gift, as a surprise. Also, champagne will be included during dessert. And
A glass of champagne.
Was it a
champagne.
pumpkin or a tomato, or was it a watermelon?
Watermelon.
Watermelon.
Oh, even cooler.
Yeah.
I thought you said tomato for some reason. And I
No.
was like,
I mean, I guess we could also do tomato too. That's, you know.
why not?
Summer.
And you also will get a bottle of exclusive wine on your way out as well. We did not mention that. So
Oh.
it is a little
Nice.
pricier,
Each
but
What? I was thinking it's not pricey at all for everything you're
for that
getting
whole
with
experience.
And for the exclusivity of it, I think that's a steal.
Well, we might have to raise the price.
We were
then.
thinking, I know, we were thinking like 300, but then we thought per couple is like 500. So we thought that was like pretty on par.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I feel like I go to one birthday dinner and I'm out $100. So.
You live in New York.
live in Manhattan.
Okay, well, yeah, true.
So that was our idea of
Yay.
From Land to Table.
I love it.
I love it.
We had
Sounded
so much
delicious.
fun planning this.
Epcot is our favorite park, so we really love to be able to do something that makes it extra fun and extra different. And I feel like I just really connect with any Imagineer that just loves Epcot. And I think, I don't know, Steven, is there someone who could help us with that?
Maybe our Imagineer of the week.
These transitions are better and better every week.
Well, we cannot have our first big Epcot focused episode without talking about the Imagineer who's been leading the Epcot overhaul. So Zach Ridley joined the Imagineering team in 2004 as a show designer for Disney parks all over the world. So most notably, he was assisting with the reimagining and relaunch of Disney California back in the day, which everyone knows needed a major rebranding from what it was to what it is now. And a big hand in planning and development for the Shanghai Disney Resort. So another bucket lister for us. But yeah, from there, he went on to oversee the global menu development and planning for worldwide parks. And after many years of strategic menu planning and project development, in 2017, he became the project executive to oversee the Epcot Transformation Initiative. And this has been his main baby for the past several years. So he is pretty much the go-to guy for anything that came out for the Epcot complete renovation that we're
I love that
we're
this was his
seeing.
main baby.
His main baby. I think he still had some other ones.
Okay.
But this was the big focus. So what's really cool about this is that it was truly a dream come true for Zach, because during a family trip to Disney shortly after Epcot opened back in the early 1980s, he knew exactly what he wanted to do for a living. And he said, quote, "So much of what Disney creates sparks ideas that last a lifetime. For me, it was seeing the power design has to capture ideas, optimism, inspiration, and storytelling that drew me to study architecture and eventually a career in the center of where the magic is made." So a real true dream come true for him. And I'm sure he's very thrilled to see his vision nearly complete, because they've announced an opening date for World Celebration. They announced it 2 weekends ago at Destination D23, and it will be opening this coming December. So those walls will finally be coming down after many years of dealing with that and the maze that Epcot has been.
Yeah.
It's almost like they've just become a part of Epcot. The past couple of times I've been, you're like, you don't even notice.
Walls.
They just exist there.
Right. I just kind of forgot that they were not supposed to be there.
Used to traveling through a maze just to figure out how to get to the bathroom when I first walk into Epcot.
Why not?
Well, over the course of his career, Zach has really been responsible for so much growth and transformation globally for the Disney parks. And it's important to have Imagineers who have the ability to stress the focus on creativity and strategy simultaneously without sacrificing one for the other, because I feel like a lot of times there's people with these great creative ideas, but there's no kind of business aspect behind it. And then
like us.
Correct. And then there's people that are so business focused they lose a lot of the creativity, but he seems to have such a good balance of both. And I also read about how he believes that inspiration can really come from anywhere, and which is very on brand for this podcast, because I feel like that's exactly what's guiding us through every episode and inspiring our weekly topics. You know, Katie and Marissa were just on Living with the Land and said, hold up, what can we do with that and make it unique and an additional added experience? So yeah.
Zach gets us.
Zach gets us, and he's a true fairy tale story Imagineer. And we're excited to see what he's bringing to Epcot very soon.
He posts really cool stuff on Instagram. If you all
He does,
aren't following him, I highly recommend.
I remember first finding him when they revealed that Epcot fountain statue in front of Spaceship Earth.
Yes.
And Disney posted his post about it. And so that's how I discovered him a few years back.
Oh, cool.
Well, that was such a fun and tasty episode to keep our creative juices flowing after that incredible Southeast Asian resort episode. If this is your first time finding us, make sure to go ahead and give our episodes, our previous ones, a listen, especially that one. It was beyond amazing. Thanks, Amanda, Steven.
Yeah.
Well, now that you've heard how we would eat our way from land to table, let us know what you think. Did your favorite foods or meals make it to dinner? We love hearing from you guys and how you'd make the ideas come to life.
And don't forget to follow us at Idiots Imagineering on Instagram so you can share all of your feedback. We love interacting with you guys on there, and we have a brand new TikTok page.
Whoa!
Woo!
This girl doesn't even know how to use it.
It's also Idiots or at Idiots Imagineering, and you may see some of our ideas come to life there too. But it's a little bare right now, but we're gonna get it up to speed.
We'll figure it out together. Yep. And don't forget about reviews, of course. Please leave us a quick one after you finish listening, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already. But we know how much you love us, so we're sure you already did.
We love making this podcast weekly for you, but we really could not do it without the time and effort of our amazing team. So thank you again, guys, to our amazing crew of idiots, Steven, Amanda, Jenny, and Katie. I'm Marissa, and we will see you again next week with the latest episode of Idiot's Guide to Imagineering. Remember, if you could dream it,
you can make a podcast about it. Bye.
Bye, everyone.